Hello, I'm RetroJules, and welcome to my garage. I just thought you might want to have a look at the tanks that I've got in my... Hang on a minute. Where's my tanks? Some has nicked my tanks. Right, time to make a phone call.
Hello, Ghostbusters.
Sorry, I've got the wrong number. Let's try again.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Oh, no, I don't think that's the sort of police that I want. Maybe I should call tank police, but I'm gonna need to do that on a video phone. Thank you, Tank Police. I do not know what I would have done without you. I've now got my 50 tanks back and I'm happy to show you and talk you through them. American tanks are absolutely my favourite line of tanks. I rebought the T1 Cunningham purely because I wanted to play the province map again, and as you all know, it's really hard to get into a tier 1 game because the load times are really long. And they've also nerfed the cannon on that. The Blitzen was a free tank, and there it is. It's a free tank. I've played it once, I think. It's probably good for a garage space, but I've kept it anyway. M41 Walker Bulldog, my tier 7 light tank. An absolutely awesome scouting and support tank. I love this highly agile tank. It's definitely one of my favourite tanks, and you'll know if I really like the tanks because they have camouflage on them. The T71, also a tier 7 American light. This is pretty much the Walker Bulldog with an autoloader. I bought this because I loved the look of the tank at the time, but they remodeled it and now it looks a bit pants. But it's a really good tank to play if you like autoloaders. The T22 prototype, this wasn't out when I first started tanking, and this is probably, I would say, one of the best tier 1 tanks. It feels and plays like a proper tank with a bit of armour and teaches you some good tactics. I don't know why I've got this tank. Oh, actually I do. I bought this because I couldn't get into tier 1 games, so I thought I'd buy tier 2 tank, and then I was going into tier 3 games and I was just trying to get that province map to come up, and yeah, I just bought this, so that's why it's there. The M4 Sherman, I love the M4 Sherman, my go back to tank, mobile, with an awesome cannon that does excellent damage. This is, if I'm having a bad day or a bad tanking session, this is where I go back to. Now the Ram 2, my premium tank, don't really play it a lot, and I should do. It's an up-armoured Sherman, really, with a sort of rapid-fire pop-pop gun, which isn't particularly accurate, but quite an effective tank, and good for making a bit of money too. Sherman Jumbo, I don't play this. I like the tank. I just don't play it. It's just, I've got 50 tanks in my garage, and you know, some tanks you just don't play, and this is one of them, but it's there if I ever need to, and I could get rid of it if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. The Easy 8, love this tank because I like the M4 Sherman. Not as effective as the M4 Sherman because the cannon isn't as good. The M4 cannon has got an up-tiered cannon, sorry. But no, I love the way the Easy 8 plays. It's smooth and it's a very effective tank. T20 is where I stopped on the American medium line. I was going to go onto the Pattons and the Pershings. I do like this tank, but I then realised that the Centurions, the British line, were much better on the penetration on their guns, and decided that actually this is where I stop on this tank line, and this is as far as I got. My Super Pershing, I bought this premium tank. I love the Super Pershing. Very frustrating with its not very good penetration on the ammunition. You can spam gold if you want because it makes that sort of money, but I do like to roll out this heavily armoured tactical flanking and support tank. And it makes money like you wouldn't believe. My T54E1, my tier 9 medium autoloader. Love this tank, a brilliant tank. I've got no crew in it because I bought the T57 Heavy and it was a really good crew in this tank, and I thought, well, if I get on with the T57 Heavy I probably won't play this, and that's exactly what has happened. But I've kept it because I liked it, but I haven't played it for a while. The M6 Heavy, I just kind of went back to lower tier heavies, and yeah, I don't play this. Haven't really got on with it, and it's one of those tanks that I should go back to and review and play and get the hang of, but I just haven't. The T29, the awesome T29, the hull down, bulletproof, turreted tank with thousands of wheels. I love the T29. Can be a little bit of an artillery magnet, but a really effective tank hull down, almost untouchable sometimes. M103. Now, a little bit vain about this tank. I bought this tank because I really like the look of it, and I love the way they've got the canvas over the front of the turret now. Bit of a tricky tank to play though. It's very well armoured on the front, but yeah, I like it. I don't play it an awful lot, and I need to go back to this tank because I did like it and I haven't played it for a very long time. It's a very easy target when it's out on the battlefield for sure. My only tier 10 tank, the T57 Heavy. This has got my T54E1 crew in it, and I do like this tank. Recently nerfed, they added 2 or 3 seconds to the reload time, but this can do an awesome amount of damage in a very quick, short amount of time. But with its autoloader, can be a little bit inaccurate at times. The only tank destroyer in my garage. I do like the Hellcat. I just find tank destroyers boring to play. Just not my style of gameplay. Sitting at the back of the map, waiting for things to happen. My first artillery piece, or my first line of artillery, the American artillery. Just sometimes when I fancy a bit of a more chilled out game, then I roll out the artillery. But I have recently bought a Russian artillery, and I think the Russian artillery is better. So on to the British tanks. The wonderful Queen of the Desert, the Matilda. I love the Matilda, an incredibly slow, well armoured medium with a really rapid fire gun with excellent penetration. This tank absolutely really needs to be top tier for its armour to be effective, and when it is, it can be quite untouchable and can catch people out with its armour. I was heading for the Sherman Firefly, and this was on the way to it, and this is a complete pile of pants. I hate this tank. I have completely given up. I love Shermans. I hate this Sherman. with a vengeance, and I've dumped it like a hot brick. Like the Cromwell Knight is exactly the same, with a slightly different gun, but a fantastic paint job, and I love rolling out the Union flag onto the battlefield. Gotta love the Cromwell. Pop gun, but very, very manoeuvrable and excellent at relocating. So this is the Centurion. This is the medium line that I'm following, because I didn't want to continue with the American mediums. And getting on with the Centurion. Very low damage on the gun, but excellent penetration. And yeah, I'm enjoying this tank and looking forward to the 7-1. Churchill. I don't play this enough. This again can be an artillery magnet. I've kind of stopped playing heavies because I find them can be a little bit frustrating, especially when you get light tanks running rings around you. But this, when it's top tier, can be quite bulletproof, brilliant at side scraping, and it's the British Churchill. It's a classic British tank, and I do enjoy it when I play it. On to the German tanks. Not really my favourite line of tanks. The Leech Tractor was one of my first tier 1 tanks. I had this and the T1 Cunningham, and this was more like a sort of normal tank which taught you good tactics, and this was before the T22 prototype was out. Panzerkampfwagen, just a little fire spitting dragon, fun little light tank to play at tier 3, an awesome bit of fun. Speerpanzer 1C, an absolutely devastating, relatively mobile German light tank at tier 7. I do like this tank, and it's got excellent gun depression to boot, which then leads on to the fastest tank in the game, the RU-251 Speerpanzer, an excellent light tank with 10 degrees of gun depression over the side of the tank, no armour whatsoever, highly manoeuvrable, good tank. Panzerkampfwagen T25, a premium tank. I just bought this because it was cheap and I thought it'd be good for training crews, and I haven't played it since and didn't really get on with it, and it's very similar to one of the Czech tanks now. Kraftpanther. I loved the look of this tank from the moment I saw it. Realised I wasn't going to be able to put the game time in to earn it, so I thought I'd spend 20 odd quid and buy it. Played it a couple of times and haven't really gone back to it. Leopard. I've got so far to go with this just to get a decent gun. I am struggling with this tank. I don't like it. I have a feeling that I may stop this line because I think there are better mediums out there to play. Tiger 1. Everyone goes for the Tiger. I like the Tiger. It's a classic tank. It plays well. Not as heavily armoured as you might think. It's not bad when it's top tier. I kind of tend to play this more as a medium, really, but I do enjoy it. Tiger Hammer, pointless tank, only good for training crews and earning money. I hate the paint job, it's just a Tiger. Yeah, I don't play this tank at all. Tiger 2, love my Tiger 2, excellent at bouncing shots when you angle it around 40 degrees. Got my paint job for it. I've unlocked the E75, but I haven't bought it yet. Love the French tanks, probably my second favourite line of tanks. The Pocket Rocket, the ELC, BIS, manic gameplay. I do enjoy this tank, I do rubbish in it quite a lot, I drive off cliffs in it quite a lot, but it's great fun to play. 1390. So I played this tank right through. I was going to get the Bat Chat, but they changed the tank line. I've now gone for the AMX 31er, and I've kept this in case I go back and play for the Bat Chat. The Chasseur de Char. Don't play this enough. I get on with this tank a lot because you pretty much play it as a light tank, and it's really, really fast with excellent gun depression. I do like this tank. The AMX 31er, I've got a long way to go to get to the 30B. Not sure that the 30B is much different to this, so it might not be worth the 6 million it's going to cost. But it does look good. This tank has got an excellent, excellent cannon on it. Kept the ARL 44 because it's a tricky tank to play because it's big. Does bounce shots off the front, but it's got an awesome cannon. And it's probably one of those tanks I should go back to and just play and play and play. AMX 5120. This is where I stopped because I was going to go into the AMX 50B. And it's exactly the same tank, so it wasn't worth going up to the tier 10. A huge, massive, easy target of a tank with a good gun. It's not as good as the T-57 Heavy, for sure. Russian tanks, not my favourite tanks either, although I have been getting on with the light tanks just lately. Actually played this the other night for the first time in a platoon of 3. The sort of derpy howitzer gun on it, highly manoeuvrable. Yeah, bit of fun actually, this tank, and it looks quite good, and it looks better without camouflage than it does with. My Super Scout, the T-54 lightweight. Love this tank. Just for some reason, me and this tank get on an absolute treat, and I've now purchased the T-54. The Motherland, T-54 prototype with the Crimson Dawn camouflage. Not played this much. Not as good as the T-54, I think. KV-1, when it's top tier, practically bulletproof, and I fell in love with this tank when I first saw it. It was the first tank I bought that had really wide tracks and it looked awesome. T150, which moves on from the KV line. I've sold this. Not getting on with the KV line. They just don't interest me. The KV4s, the KV5s, etc. Just don't really enjoy playing them. Didn't enjoy playing the ISs either. Just not my type of tank. Now this is the artillery line I'm following, and I do like Russian artillery. It seems to be better than the American artillery. Chinese tanks. I like the Chinese tanks. I love the WZ line. All of them are brilliant. Even the little popper of a 5916 or 5960, I can't remember what it's called. They are really good tanks, but no armour, but very effective cannons. And the Type T-34, I don't play this much, but I do really, really well in it. I can't play the Russian T-34 for the life of me, but I can play this quite well. Now, Japanese tanks, yeah, I haven't bothered. There it is. There's the Tier 1 Renault Otsu, and that's as far as I've got with the Japanese tanks. I think I've rolled that out once or twice. The new heavies appeared, just haven't played them. It's not that I'm not interested. Don't really play heavies at the moment, just not got onto this line at all. And of course, we have the new Czechoslovakian tanks, which have just recently started, and after the painful effort of trying to get into Tier 1 and Tier 2 games, I'm now up to Tier 4, and I'm finding this tank a real grind. It's actually quite an effective little hold-down tank with a decent cannon. Not overly manoeuvrable, but I'm just finding the 12,000 XP to get rid of this tank is hard work. So that's my tanks. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I had in my garage. Keep safe, keep tanking, and I'll see you soon.